Welcome to our episode about how to turn base metal into gold. We started talking about this earlier. Let me ask you, Bersabeh, have you turned any metal into gold recently?
Yes.
You have. Now, wouldn't you love to have a husband or a wife who was able to do that? And did you make bars or jewelry, or what exactly did you make?
I made multiple bars.
Yeah, multiple bars of gold. Actually, that's a metaphor. True alchemy is not about literally turning base metal into gold, even though that would be nice.
That would be so nice.
It would be so nice. Sometimes we need it worse than others. But that's a metaphor for doing what, Bersabeh?
For taking us something that's of low value and transmuting into something of high value.
That's right. Or we could say it's about evolving a low level of consciousness into a higher level of consciousness. Or the higher self, which there's a lot of different names for the higher self. What are some of the names of that degree of consciousness?
Of higher self? Your soul?
Your soul? How about Christ consciousness? How about Supreme Buddha mind? And that's really what alchemy is all about, is raising to that level that all great teachers and sages and prophets have encouraged us to rise ourselves to since the beginning of time.
True.
Now, Bersabeh, is there any quick fix to making this happen?
No.
Is there any magic pill to making this happen?
No.
No.
Unfortunately, not.
Sorry to burst your bubble if you're looking for something really quick and magic, because it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of work. In fact, lots of it. And that's why so few people ever accomplish it. And I know that makes sense to you. Now, in a previous episode, we suggested there are 3 steps in a process to literally turning low-level awareness, low value, into high awareness, high value. And those are clean up.
Wake up.
Oh, you messed it up. Grow up, and then wake up. Actually, wake up is one of them, but it's important that they go in that order. Clean up, grow up, and wake up. And why is it that you have to grow up before you can wake up, Bersabeh?
Well, because you have to grow up and take responsibility.
That's right. I mean, you have to become a human being. You have to become an adult before you actually wake up. And you might think that's just a biological given, but it's not.
No.
It's a biological given, maybe
potential.
Physiologically to some degree, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually, not so much. So clean up, grow up, wake up, and they have to happen in that order. Now, let's begin a discussion today briefly about specifically what cleaning up is about. In the mystery schools, it states that you must clean up starting with your physical body. That's first. Then you have to clean up your mental body. Then you have to clean up your emotional body. And finally, your spiritual body. So, as we said, there's no quick fix, there's no magic pill. But let's at least begin to address today your physical body. And we might not get finished with cleaning up today because it consists of many, many things. But the very first thing that you must clean up physically are toxins. A toxic body will never fully function, and you will never fully have functional thoughts and feelings.
True.
Why is that, Bersabeh?
Well, because you're toxic.
Yeah, obviously. but be more specific.
Why aren't you able to do that? Well, because you can't think right. You don't think straight. When your body's toxic, you're tired all the time and you're thinking thoughts that, you would only develop with a toxic body because it causes you to be depressed or creates anxiety, all those kinds of things.
It literally creates garbage in your brain. And so while the mind is different than the mind operates through the brain.
Right.
The brain is the vehicle of the mind. You're not going to be able to clean up your thoughts and feelings. And the heart is the center of the feeling center of the body when you've got toxins, because they're going to get in the way. And this is where so many personal development methodologies miss the boat. Change your thinking, change your life. Well, not so fast, because it's going to be really hard to change your thinking if your body is toxic. Hopefully that makes sense to you. And so there are a lot of different toxins that you can obviously put in your body. Some are avoidable. Some, quite frankly, in today's world are not so avoidable. So if we know there are some that are not avoidable, things that are in the atmosphere, things that we're bombarded with, things that we're ingesting through our food sources and our waters, et cetera, then it makes it even more important that we pay strict attention to the things that are avoidable. And so what, generally speaking, are the first things you should remove, Beersheba, from your body, from your daily routine?
Well, it depends. If you're someone who's a smoker, for example.
Tobacco.
And I'm talking like real cigarettes, not, what are they called, vapors?
Actually, vape is worse.
Well, they are worse. Yeah, anyway.
Can you talk, since that came up, why are they worse?
Well, because there's more chemicals in them, and apparently there's a lot of metals.
Heavy metals
and vapors, which, if you're going to smoke a cigarette or you want to smoke cigarettes, I would say smoke the cigarette rather than vape is probably better for you.
Yeah, and the only reason we say that, we're not advocating that you smoke cigarettes, but we've heard people tell us, well, I'm going to stop smoking, but I'm going to vape.
Yeah, that's worse.
Because it's better. It's actually worse. So toxins, remove tobacco. What else?
Well, if you drink alcohol, it's not good.
Alcohol. These should be self-evident, but they're not. And this third one,
it's a big one.
It's not as self-evident because there's so many people saying, "Oh, it's good for you."
Yeah, but it's the hype. Think about it. Back in the day, they used to be commercials about.
Well, tell them what it is first before you go in.
Yeah.
You're right. But
marijuana.
Marijuana. Yeah.
So back in the day, doctors used to make commercials about how smoking is good for you and pregnant women should smoke and everybody should smoke. And now, oh my God, it's not so good for you.
Creates cancer.
Yeah, well, they haven't done the same thing with alcohol, which they should. They probably will at some point. And now they're trying to do that with pot, marijuana. And, everyone who used to actually illegally purchase pot back in the day, I was one of them. And you had to sneak around to smoke it. Yeah, that it's ultimately not good for you because it does not make you feel good. And it sure as heck doesn't help you recover from that. That is the biggest lie I've ever heard. Anyone who smokes pot on a regular basis knows that it does not make you feel good. You can't remember things. It makes you lazy. You don't have that drive.
You wake up foggy.
I mean, you know. And I also understand that now that it's come out and they're saying it's okay, you're like, it's okay. It's okay.
It's not okay.
I get it. And, long term, deep down inside, you know that it's not good.
It's
not okay.
I'm going to take a drink of coffee.
Yeah, it's okay.
Keep going.
I'm done. I'm just saying everyone who deep down, sooner or later, you're going to have to stop. Or else life is going to make you stop.
But here's the thing. How many times do we hear people say, "Oh, I can stop anytime I want"?
Oh yeah?
Really?
Go for it.
Do it.
Do it. Someone who smokes on a regular basis for long term, you cannot just stop. It is actually quite hard to quit. It's quite addictive.
Very hard.
It's very emotionally. It's a battle,
and it brings tremendous anxiety when you quit. But let's.
It brings tremendous anxiety if you continue to do so for years. I'm talking 10, 20 years, and there's people out there. I mean, okay.
Can you tell she has a dog in this fight? She has a dog in this fight.
Because I used to be an ex-addict. So here's the thing. Look at perfect example of what someone would look like long term if they smoke pot. Look at Snoop. Who wants to be that? I mean, he can barely walk or keep his eyes. I mean, really? I mean, that's your future right there. And I'm sorry, money does not give you importance, okay?
No.
There you go. I'm done.
Thank you, dear.
You're welcome.
Thanks for your brevity. So,
I had some coffee today.
Yeah, she had some coffee. Tobacco, alcohol, marijuana, those are the obvious ones that need to be removed. Toxins from your body. Let's talk about...
And then you get prescribed medications.
Okay.
Adderall.
But hang on.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, let's take that coffee away from you.
No, it's okay.
So let's talk about cigarettes and why they're deleterious, detrimental to your body. They're filled with chemicals. We already told you vaping is even worse, heavy metals in vape. Cigarettes numb you out to life.
Okay, hold on. I do have a dog in this fight. Okay?
Yeah, she does.
So here's the thing.
She used to smoke cigarettes too.
I used to smoke cigarettes. I smoked them for 24 years.
I'll be back in a few
just
minutes.
leave. I got this. So here's the thing. I love how people who don't smoke, but they drink and they smoke pot and many other things. And then when they find out a person smokes, they're like, oh my God, that's disgusting. I can't believe you do such a thing to your health. Well, first of all, I like you to take a person who's a smoker and someone who's an alcoholic. Whose body looks more jacked up? It's the person who's the alcoholic and even a pothead. Okay? Take a pothead, take Snoop, and take someone who just smokes cigarettes. You can't even compare the two together. That's all I'm saying. I'm done.
Okay. So we're talking about toxins. All of them are horrific for you. And
none of them are good.
The science and the research proves this. Again, let me go back to cigarettes before I got her on her soapbox. Cigarettes numb you out to life. They suppress, this is big, unresolved emotional issues.
Yeah.
They suppress those, and you have experience with that too.
Yes.
And
that's why I smoked them.
That's right, to avoid them.
Right.
To suppress them. In addition to causing cancer. So that's just a couple of things on cigarettes. Let's talk about alcohol. Alcohol kills brain cells.
Yeah.
That's a well-known fact. Studies in brain morphology prove that it atrophies alcohol. Every time you drink alcohol, it atrophies the executive center of your brain.
And your liver.
Yes, exactly. It kills the microbiome in your gut. And what we know now is that things like dementia and Alzheimer's start in the gut. And so it gives you a greater chance drinking alcohol. And you say, well, I'm just a social drinker. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It really doesn't, because that gives you, even those social drinks, even a weekend once in a while, has the same effect on the executive centers of your brain. It kills brain cells. It kills microbiome in your gut, and it gives you a greater chance for Alzheimer's and dementia. Horrible, horrible disease. My father died with Alzheimer's, and didn't you have a grandma? Yeah.
That's not fun.
Now, while pot, who my beloved has already gone on a rant about, is in vogue right now, it's very detrimental. Now, there are those who like to argue that there's benefits, but the reality is it's highly addictive.
Well, it's highly addictive. And unless if you're actually really sick and it was what maybe a best thing for you to do, other than that, you're making excuses to do something because you're trying to escape some kind of pain or not to look at your own issues. It's an effect of whatever your cause is making you go after it in the first place. So you have to lie to yourself. I get it.
And please remember, what we're talking about here is transmutation, taking low value and transmuting it into high value, taking low awareness, transmuting it into high awareness. You're not going to get there when you have these kind of toxins in your brain, not the least of which reasons is that you're running from the things that eventually you have to confront. And if you don't confront them, and you like me know that you use these things and it might suppress for the moment, but the minute they wear off, those issues come right back. And then you got to use it again and use it again. Just like alcohol, this is not that widely known, is that pot, marijuana, atrophies the executive center of the brain as well. It does. And in fact, Dr. Daniel Amen, who has conducted, he's a psychiatrist, and he's conducted massive amounts of brain imaging, has proven that every single, please listen to this, every single quadrant of the brain functions at lower levels for those people who smoke. And it's not just while they're smoking. Every single quadrant of the brain functions at lower levels for people who smoke.
Pot?
Yes.
Oh, well.
Right. And finally, new research from Stanford University has found that those who smoke pot, here it comes, have a greater likelihood of heart attack because it constricts the arteries.
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot more toxins, and we said cleanup is a big topic, and we wouldn't complete it today. So we're going to roll it up for now with those toxins that are definitely in your control. Not easy. It's not supposed to be easy. If it was easy, then everybody would be at their peak, and they're not. These toxins are all within your control, and we realize it's difficult. You might have an addiction, and our heart goes out to you. But unless and until you beat these, it will be next to impossible to fully clean up and turn base metal into gold.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's given you something to think about.
Yeah, hopefully this was uplifting for you.
And act upon. Well, it should be uplifting because the results are very uplifting.
Well, the results are for sure.
Very uplifting. Look at what the results have created right here. She could barely talk when I first met her, you know. She was so inside. Anyway, thanks for a couple moments of your day. God bless you. Lots of love. We'll talk to you again next week.